I'm ready. So whenever you are, dude.
We gotta go. Hold on, let me get this thing out of the way. 3, 2, 1. You know what? I'm gonna intro it because you save your energy. You save your energy. It's gonna be one of those episodes. Hello, everybody. I'm Kevin Pillow, and I'm coming from my green studio here because I didn't even put the background on yet. Where this is what this kind of episode is going to be. Welcome to PS Comics I Love You, episode number 21. Yes, it is probably going to be the drinking show because JR and I, it's been one of those weeks, my friend. A lot of news, a lot of information coming out, and a lot going on.
My fault. I'll get back up.
Oh, there it is. So I'm gonna go a little keep a little Halloween theme there. And for those of you who didn't get to see the behind the scenes of the new studio, you can head over to PS Comics I Love You on on Instagram, or you can head over to my Instagram. And by the way, I am Kevin Pillow, the voice of reason. You can follow me at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. The man over there, or up, or down, depending on which way his camera is located. Yeah. He is JR Kabakungan, the Dark King. Also also not JR Comics 42. And he will have some new content coming to you very, very soon on that platform. So anyways, before JR gets on to full rant mode today, which I know he's going to, it's been one of those days where we have multiple phone calls coming in from JR. And this was supposed to be strictly our Image Comics episode, which we promoted, and I think we're going to start doing that a little bit more often in kind of letting you guys know in advance of what we're going to do so that you guys can have kind of some context to the show and kind of be prepared. But this was supposed to be the Image Comics episode. JR has promised us it's still going to be an Image Comics episode. But DC kind of put some stuff down this past week, the past couple of days, that made JR kind of tie it together. So this is a Image Comics / DC Future State episode. So we're just letting people know about that. So first off, let's get to the news and notes. We'll have to have some sound effects or something in there.
Eventually, we do.
JR, you put this out there on the social media platforms this past week, and that was the Monster Hunter trailer. Now, if you've listened to the last couple of weeks' episodes, you would know that JR is no fan of not only Mila Jovovich, but Wes Anderson when it comes to Resident Evil. But when it comes to let's just blow some shit up, monsters coming out of the dirt, crap going everywhere. If it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And you actually seem to be pretty positive on this Monster Hunter trailer.
Really?
I don't know. You seem to kind of like it.
I was being sarcastic. I was being super sarcastic, dude. It was.
I liked it. It's,
okay. Yeah, it's
to me. It wasn't trying to reinvent the book. Now, Monster Hunter is an existing property, correct? It's an existing IP. So maybe I think that's where JR's sarcasm comes in a little bit. To me, it was just blowing some shit up and having some fun. I seem to like it, but it's not my cup of tea. But JR, you seem to have some connection to it. Okay, we'll go on. This is bitch number 1 for JR, I'm guessing.
Yeah. Okay. So, have you ever seen Death Note on Netflix, or know what that is?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay. So basically, all this really is kind of boils down to is an American company or Western developer or Western directors, Hollywood, whatever you want to do. They're taking a long-standing IP from an Eastern development, and try to Americanize everything. So what happened originally is that Monster Hunter is basically what it sounds. You're a monster hunter, right? But there it's a thing where it's just strictly, you know, full on like not middle like Middle Earth type of stuff setting,
Yeah.
not setting, but like you have nothing but like, you know, spears, a bow and arrow, great swords, armor, right? You
Yeah.
hunt these monsters down. There was no guns whatsoever in the video game.
Yeah.
And it's not a new iteration either. Like this series has been on like for the last, I think, 15, 20 years now.
Yeah.
And no guns whatsoever. Oh, 1 second, dude. My Siri keeps on popping up now with these headphones on. But like, there was no gun whatsoever. There was nothing of that, and they just basically. And there was this meme I saw, dude, early this week, right? Where like if someone's scared in America, all they scream and text it and shoots it with guns, and that's what basically this thing is. It was I understand, like, all right, cool, you know, it's they try to popularize it, right? They're trying to have people, you know, kind of somewhat be in the thing, but like I'll be okay. Like there were certain things I'll be okay with, right? Like, okay, cool, yeah, put explosion in, yeah, put maybe some guns in because hey, you know, it's Monster Hunter, it's Western audience, but like you put Mila Jovovich and you know, Wes Anderson in that thing, dude, with their history with me and Resident Evil and all that stuff. I'm waiting for Mila Jovovich to bust out some type of minigun, do like some flying back kick, you know, triple somersault into like into the monster's gullet and like just shoot it from the inside. I'm expecting Tony Jaa to be absolutely nobody in this film. Tony Jaa, for those who don't know, is a freaking legend, absolute legend in the martial arts game. Right?
Yeah.
He made Ong Bak 1, 2, 3. He made I forgot the initial movie really made me watch him was where he was the Protector. There you go. He was the Protector, Muay Thai enthusiast for a very long time. Then became a monk for like 3 years, and then he went back to movie making. And they got him in because one, you know, to give some legitimacy. But then I wholeheartedly feel that Tony Jaa is gonna have he's just there to look like a Monster Hunter, and that is it. And I don't know how to feel about it. I already seen some people say, "Oh, you know, I enjoyed it though. It looks good." Yeah,
Yeah.
because you haven't played the video game. You don't know what it's about. Like the only thing legitimate about that movie trailer to me was cool. They had some of the weapons, they had the monsters there, and they had one dude in Monster Hunter gear, and that's it. So I'm like, I'm mad, but at the same time, like I can't get mad at people who enjoy it because yeah, it's basically the Ghost in the Shell type of thing. Even
Yeah.
though Ghost in the Shell was way more honorable, I guess, like a better term, with the source material than Monster Hunter is, because the no damn U.S. Army came into a Monster Hunter game. So, but yeah, that was one thing. But
So this is the begin. This is folks. This is the beginning of what is expected to be a really long JR soapbox, grind my gears, bitch mode for JR and PS Comics. I love you. So you're in it for the long haul. It's episode number 21. That's why there's probably going to be drinking involved. Like I said, I seem to kind of enjoy it. I didn't know. I've been kind of out of the video game world for probably about 8 years. I get to see some of the like the main, really, really, really at the forefront, generic, all-encompassing video games. Like, you know, obviously, it's no secret that since episode 1 that I'm kind of a Pokemon fan, so I'm into that kind of stuff. I know of the Call of Duties. I know of Fortnite.
yeah,
I don't know a lot of the, and not to say that this is a B-level video game, but it's not. It's known
it's
to, like, you have to be like
yeah, it's very
really
niche.
into waiting out, camping out on Tuesday mornings, video game hunter to know this title. I didn't know it, and I'm gonna throw myself under the bus. I just looked at purely from this is a PG-13 R-rated kind of borderline action movie that's on the lines of Resident Evil. I mean, you look at Mila Jovovich;
Yeah.
she looks exactly like the character she plays in Res Evil. It's shot very similarly. I thought some of the scenes looked a lot like what. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his name now. The guy that
Michael
did
Bay.
Transformers, Michael Bay,
Michael
very
Bay.
Michael Bay-esque from Transformers 1, which was one of the best scenes in the movie. was the scene
Yeah,
in the
the where
desert,
the yeah.
with the Scorpion transformer, and they brought the C-130, and Tyrese is like, bring the
Yeah.
rain.
Yeah.
That kind of, it just had that kind of feel to it. So very
Yeah.
Michael Bay-esque.
Yeah.
To me, those kind of movies, like, it's
Yeah.
cool, whatever. But knowing now that it's an IP of a video game, God, video game IPs are so tough to turn into a movie.
Yeah.
You have,
I
because
mean,
you're,
yeah. I mean, like, it's to me, it's kind of a disservice because, like, just think of like Pokemon, right?
yeah.
Pokemon. Think the U.S. Army entering a Pokemon game with guns and grenades and a jeep and just shooting on the Pokemon.
Don't give them any ideas. Don't give them any ideas for Detective Pikachu Part 2.
Well, I mean, at least they did detect. At least they did detect the Pichu somewhat, right?
Yeah,
Right. It
I
was
really
kid
enjoyed that
friendly.
movie. It
Yeah,
was probably, is it based on the video game? No, it is based
absolutely not.
on characters and the IP of the video game. But you know what? I will say this, and they just happen to be two kid movies. The two video game movies that they have done right in the last few years, has been Detective Pikachu
Yep.
and Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog was, it is what
Yeah.
it is. It's a kids movie. I get it. Move past it. It's, the video game was a kids video game. It's not like they did Call of Duty and tried to make a Call of Duty movie. Don't give him no ideas. Michael
I mean,
Bay,
that's
stand
every other
down.
movie
Wes
though.
Anderson, stand down. We don't need a
Mm,
Call of Duty movie. Um, and I know they want to do a Halo movie bad.
I guess, but that's hard to do too.
I just, I don't know. To me, it's, I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know it was a video game property. I
Yep.
looked kind of cool. Now, is this going to be did they say, is this going to go straight to digital? Is this a straight
I
to digital premiere, or is this going to be?
don't know. Don't know. That's the thing. Yeah, I know they just released a trailer. They just released a trailer, and so it might. You know how the trailers are. Like they release one trailer maybe anywhere between 6 months to a year.
Yeah. Now,
So.
folks out there, we're going to probably do some more of this kind of stuff on our
Mhm,
social media accounts, because
mhm,
it's a lot easier than putting stuff up on YouTube or the podcast. So we might still
mhm.
do some trailer reactions, but it's a little difficult to do trailer reaction videos on YouTube because of copyright and stuff like that. So what JR
Yeah.
did, we might shoot
Do
these
with
videos, like
that.
we might record them for on Zoom still and do them, but we might post them straight to social media,
Yeah.
and get your guys' reaction on them. I know a lot of people do reaction videos on YouTube, but eh,
Not really
we're just
us.
starting out and we don't want to
Yeah.
buck the Bronco. Moving
Yeah.
right along, this kind of got my attention. Don't know much about it, but it got my attention because Nicolas Cage is very much in the talks of being the. I'm gonna let you have it here in a second. I thought that Nick Cage, when I heard the story about this movie, I thought this was it. We're finally getting it. Nick Cage is coming to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because the headlines I read, like, Nick Cage is going to be in a new movie, and really and truly, the only thing out there that Nick Cage's name has been attached to has been, um, possibly him either showing up in Spider-Man 3
Yeah.
or in an eventual Secret Wars movie as Ghost Rider, or just straight out becoming Johnny Blaze
Yeah.
and no, yeah, Johnny Blaze, and becoming the Spirit of Vengeance
Yeah.
again. Well, by the way, Nick Cage, Academy Award winning actor. He is very good. I liked him in what's it called? I was just talking about it with a friend
Air.
of mine today.
Air.
Con Air. Love him in Con Air.
Air.
Love him
Yeah.
in The Rock. I think
Was
he's
it next?
fantastic in National Treasure. I'm glad that there's going to be a third one, which actually
Mm,
might end up being a TV show on
yeah.
Disney Plus. But I thought he played Johnny Blaze pretty good. The first Ghost Rider movie wasn't half bad. They are taking that character a little bit more serious. I think that they did a great job with the new Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I'm just completely drawing a blank on right now.
Robbie
Robbie
Reyes.
Reyes. Robbie Reyes. I think the actor who played Robbie Reyes was perfect in Agents of Shield. So they're taking that character very, very seriously to the point where they were ready to do a standalone Ghost Rider show for Hulu, which got canceled,
Mm.
with the guy coming back. And I think I can't think of his name, but anyways,
Yeah.
that's what I thought this was. And then it said jujitsu, and I'm like, what the hell does Nicolas Cage know about martial arts? It does also star Juju Chan, Frank Grillo. Some of you Marvel fans will know Frank Grillo. He was Crossbones
Yep.
in Civil War
Yeah.
and
And
well,
our man,
not
Captain America.
no Civil
Cap,
War, Winter Soldier, and technically Endgame.
that's right.
So also in it is Rick Yoon, Tony
If you don't,
Jaa.
yeah. If those who know
What?
Ricky Ewan, man, if you remember, Fast and Furious #1, he was the Asian dude that that he was the Asian guy
Oh,
where his family got raided, right? And he killed
and his dad smacks him because he's a
yeah,
disgrace.
yeah. So that's Ricky
He's a
Ewan, man.
good actor. I
He's
like him.
great,
He's
dude.
got a. I'll
Yeah,
pull it up real quick while Jr. talks about
but yeah.
uh, jujitsu.
It's hilarious to me because like I am still a very martial arts practitioner, and jujitsu is of course is not for those who don't know jujitsu. People think jujitsu think Brazilian jiu-jitsu, right? The one that has heavily dominated
Yeah,
the MMA world, because of the Royce Gracie, everyone right now. If you're in MMA, you got to have some background jiu-jitsu and just to get even in the game, right?
yeah,
Just even have even playing field with everybody else. But like when people think of jujitsu, full on, traditional jujitsu, think of Japanese jujitsu. And it's very much that, what happens when you don't have your katana as a samurai, close quarter combats, wrist manipulations, all that stuff, right? And it's hilarious to me that this film is called Jiu-Jitsu when there's no jiu-jitsu moves being used in the trailer. That was just one small tidbit for me, right? Like it's like calling
there's Ricky. There's Rick Yoon for those of you.
that boy looked like he hasn't aged one
I
freaking
was
bit.
just gonna say, what is up with it? And I'm allowed to say this
Asian,
because I
man.
got my partner over here is of Asian descent. What is
Yeah.
up with Asians?
Hey man, like you know how they say black don't crack, dude. Something with Asian blood too, man. It's
It,
like the second, but here's the thing though: the second somebody hits 65, it wears
you
60
look,
years old.
but the thing, you hit 65 and you look 90 for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
have I love it that they weren't blood to me.
Mm-hmm.
My cousins who are blood, who are half Japanese, and their grandparents full blooded Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
and as long as I've known them for they're both gone on to the great war, they've both passed on, but both lived into their 90s respectively,
Yeah.
and they have looked the same for for almost 40 years. And as long as I've known them, they've always looked that way. They take good care of themselves, and I just go like, what is up? And people always say it, they just don't build them like that anymore. They
Yeah.
just It's a whole new
Yeah,
DNA
man.
out there, but
Yeah.
nonetheless, yeah, you're right. That was the first thing I said when I pulled up
Yeah.
IMDb and I pulled up the video or the photo of Rick,
Yeah.
was he looks like he did. And mind you, for context, guys, that photo of Rick was taken in the Olympus Has Fallen premiere, which was in 2013, so 7 years ago. All right,
But you
now
bring a picture of him now though.
he looks exactly the same.
Boy, it still
But
looks
if
the
you look
same.
at it though, Fast and the Furious was made in 2001. That was 19 years ago, and I guarantee you. And I'm trying to find a photo of him in
Fast Furious.
jujitsu. I guarantee you he looks exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I literally was saying the exact same thing
Yeah.
as you did. That yeah, something in
Yeah.
that blood.
But it's funny that the trailer for Jujitsu just released, right? I'm thinking it's gonna be like it's definitely gonna be a straight to streaming or straight to video, whatever type of
I
thing. And
gotta imagine. Yeah,
but like, hey man, I'm just happy that Tony Jaa is finally back making movies that are somewhat being American Western orientated. That's cool. Same thing with Juju Chan. For those, she was her last I think role was in Wu Assassins in Netflix, and she was in that one. Frank
who
Grillo, because it's Frank Grillo.
I was gonna say, who is that?
Who? Juju Chan? 2009.
Juju
He
Chen.
was
That's the female lead, right?
yes, yeah.
She has got a cool look to her.
Her hair, yeah, like I think
Yeah,
the
she's
when she's
cool
showing her
looking.
hair in I like platinum blonde look that was
Yeah,
her
I'll bring
last
it up
couple of
right
years
now.
or so. Yeah, but
Um,
she was in Wu Assassins, which featured my boy oh my god, I'm forgetting his name now.
there for
Yeah,
those of
yeah,
you watching YouTube, I posted the picture. There's
yeah,
Nick Cage, obviously Frank Grillo right there with the Jiu-Jitsu versus everybody shirt.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
Juju Chan right there in the yellow, right?
yeah. You trying the yellow. But she was in let me see and put up Wu Assassins real quick. She was in Wu Assassins Netflix special on a Netflix series, and it featured my boy Iko Huas, who is another freaking awesome, martial arts actor, a martial artist, and like they're just coming up, man. For those who don't know who Iko Huas was, if you remember watching Rogue, Star Wars Rogue,
Row
yeah, I
one.
think it's Rogue One, right? He was one of the Asian actors that was in the dropship before they dropped,
Oh,
right,
okay,
for the big
gotcha.
event, right? And the other one near him, right, another Asian actor, he's legend too. He was also in John Wick 3, when like the last like one of the last battles, right? Those three Asian guys that he fought, where they're like, "Oh, Mr. Wick, we're big fans. We love that to fight you all that stuff, right?" And they're live at the end of the movie. Yeah, they're gonna come back for Wick 4 and 5. They're gonna come back on his team. I freaking know it already.
I need to
But
watch
yeah,
John Wick again.
dude,
I did not want to watch those movies because I didn't want to believe the hype, and everyone's just like,
bro.
"Oh my gosh, they're the greatest action movies of all time." Blah blah blah. And I watched them like, dang it, these are good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
sorry, little John Wick sidetrack
Dude,
there.
dude, I'm on one right now, man, because of this episode. Any happiness right now was gonna sustain me. But yeah, I mean, Nicolas Cage is in it, and cool. I'm hoping, funny thing when you brought up that hopefully Nicolas Cage comes back, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I was kind of I Nicolas Cage in, if you remember that movie Next, right? I think it's called with Jessica Biel, where he saw
yeah,
into the
yeah,
future for like 5-10 seconds, whatever. To me, him in that role, I think would be a perfect Rorschach, or not perfect, but a really good Rorschach.
yeah. And they're who knows what they if they want
I mean, that's
to.
DC, but still.
I know it's DC, and I know they did the Watchmen on Showtime, and they call it
Mm-hmm.
the mini series, or what it was, I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it was HBO Max or
Yeah, HBO
HBO.
Max.
But um, I I hope that they do a I take another stab at it. Um,
Yeah,
I actually kind of take that back. I kind of hope that they stick with it on the HBO format
yeah.
and bring it back and expand the universe a little bit. But
I mean, hey man, all that Game of Thrones money that was
yep,
supposed to be in the budget. Now it's gonna go to every other IP they have. So if it goes to more sci-fi stuff, more comic book stuff, cool, man. You get that Game of Thrones money coming on.
well, they've said that that's a lot of where the streaming services are going. And I had a conversation with someone this past week
Mm,
about what's it called? Sorry, someone sent me a message. And, it was video, and I didn't think it was video. Nonetheless, I was talking to someone this past week about Amazon, and we're not going to get political on this show, but whether you like him or not, as a CEO, Jeff Bezos has done. He's at least reinvested some of his trillions of dollars back into his product, and one of the things he has reinvested into has been Amazon Prime Video,
yeah,
and I give him all the credit in the world to doing that. So
yeah,
yeah, what has put him on the map of Amazon.com and shipping stuff. And I know this past week was Prime Day and stuff like that, and he probably made another $1 billion. He is putting people back to work, and right now, with
yeah,
a lot of studios shut down, a lot of major studios shut down because they don't want to risk getting people sick. And during the COVID, he has stacked um, the deck for safety. He's put a lot of protocols out there for his employees and whatnot,
mm-hmm.
from the studio side, and he's really investing in a lot of property. So where a lot of guys, they joke around with Netflix that Netflix doesn't turn down anything, that they were green lighting everything.
Yeah,
Amazon's
they
kind
were.
of doing the same thing, but they're being a little bit picky and choosy. Same thing with Apple TV Plus. You're going to see a lot of really good content come
Yeah,
out. Yeah, the big ones, Netflix is probably have some good stuff. Disney Plus is going to have some good stuff. But I'm telling you right now, HBO Max, Amazon Prime Video, and Apple TV Plus are going to put out, pardon my French, are going to put out some good shit over the next,
yeah,
I'd say, just give them some time
easily.
over
Yeah,
the next, between the next 2 to 5 years. Those three
yeah,
properties are going to blow up. Hulu, the same thing,
Yeah,
because I think Disney's gonna put some good stuff on Hulu.
yeah.
But Amazon Prime Video, they're reinvesting a lot of their stuff, and it's stuff like this.
I mean,
Jujitsu
yeah.
is going to go straight to streaming. But who has it? Is it going to Netflix or?
They haven't said anything right now, but like this with the bigger billionaire companies, right, trillion dollar companies, man, it's just a matter of time to like the investment. Like just for me, just going from a series I'm watching now on Amazon, I can't keep on saying enough about The Expanse, dude. But from season 4 to 5, right? No, 3 to 4, right? When Amazon took over the reins from Sci-Fi, even though it was already well budgeted and looked really great from seasons 1 to 3, season 4, dude, the Amazon money kicked in, and it just like sure the season shortened just a little bit to by 2, but like, dude, like you're talking about going able to take your whole freaking crew to different to actual live sets out somewhere in the Sahara Desert, or out to somewhere in some remote spot, where and you can show off everything crispy clear 4K super sample down to 1080p, like just like great, like small, like what do you call it, small, like I'm forgetting the word right now, but like just the things you don't notice until you actually notice them is like you expounds that by like thousands of percent, dude. Like just going into a bigger company, and their willingness to invest money into your property or IP, it just you see just a huge difference from it. But yeah,
Yeah. So just, again, looking at it, it is going to go straight. It is going to be a small release in in theaters. It will be available on demand through your cable company, and a direct to um, digital. What do they call it? Hey, hold on, let me pull up real quick. I just had it here in front of me from.
live premiere or
Um,
something like that.
they are calling. It says in theaters, on demand, and digital, November 20th.
Mhm.
So you can get it, I believe, for purchase. No word. It does not say it's going to be in theaters, so that means it's not going to be a. It is not going to get a um, like a specific platform release. So if it's going to go to theaters, it's not going to see a Netflix premiere. It's not going to see. But I really think, and I like 2 or 3 years ago when they first started talking about doing these digital premieres, I said it's never going to work. You're not going to see anybody that's going to want to see Avenger movies at home on their big screen TVs, when they can go see it on a 500-foot big screen with 21.6 surround sound, digital Dolby, horses running around you, surround sound. But I think nowadays, with so much competition, I think you're going to see more and more digital premieres. Are you going to
Yeah.
see the Black Widows, the Justice League? Well, I know we're getting the Snyder Cut next year on HBO Max. Are you going to see Endgame, blah, 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 blah? Are you going to see those make a premiere on Disney Plus? Maybe we saw Mulan, but that was extenuating circumstances.
Hmm.
I think movies like this, Jiu-Jitsu, Monster Hunter, um, Resident Evil, stuff like that. That's like, okay, we've seen it on the big screen before. Do we really need to see it on the big screen? Hey, let Netflix have a shot at it,
Yeah.
and it's going to create competition. I think you're going to see,
Yeah.
and you're seeing what Apple TV is doing. Apple TV, and I know this is going to be, oh, you're just an Apple honk. They're going out there and they're doing exactly what they've done for the last 40 years as a tech company. They've given the small people a chance to shine. Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak created that company as renegades, and they're giving renegade filmmakers an opportunity on their platform. I know people say, oh, it's turned into this big billion-dollar conglomerate, but they still care about the little
Yeah.
people. That's a whole different show. This looks like it's going to be fun. Is it going to be the next big thing? Is it going to win Academy Awards? No, it's
Absolutely
freaking
not.
Nicolas Cage doing jujitsu.
Next, yeah. Trying
Um,
to do jujitsu,
this is
but
going to be stupid. Let's get drunk. Let's have some. Let's do a viewing party. Get some buddies together. Hook up the Netflix, and we're no, it just said it wasn't going to be on Netflix, but hook it up to some computers and do a viewing party. Get drunk and watch some stupid stuff. So
take a sip every
it's
time
pretty.
Nicolas Cage do some stupid.
Well, hi, real quick, something that we're gonna go rapid fire on this next
Yeah.
thing. Real quick, let's rapid fire because this one's not on there. Speaking of DC and stuff that is going um, straight to digital platforms. Michael B. Jordan. This is not on your notes, but I'm
Mm.
sure you saw this.
Mm-hmm.
Michael B. Jordan is set to produce a property for DC. You're like,
That's right.
what? I
That's
thought he
right.
was going to
That's right.
be resurrected as Killmonger and come back for Marvel. He might still do that.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to do a Static Shock movie for HBO Max. It was announced at DC Fandom that a live action Static Shock movie is in early development. And it'll be actually, it said that it is going to be a theatrical venture,
Mhm.
but they're not, because not something made for HBO Max, but those other stuff that I've read, this was called from We Got It Discovered, and as well as Variety. But I have read some other notes that said that this might just get turned to HBO Max to kind of help. But who knows? Maybe it'll be big enough that it will get what's it
The
called?
theatrical release.
A major release. So I
Yeah.
wish him all the best of luck. I know that Static Shock was a character I know a little bit about. I think he
I think there was there was a cartoon before the actual
there
comic.
was but I think that I want to say, and I have to look it up now. Now it's
Yeah,
gonna bug me. There was a book that I read. They did a crossover back in the 90s what DC did. It was shortly after
crossover with Batman.
no, it was with Superman,
Was it?
and there was an all black comic brand. It wasn't Image. And I want to say it's owned by DC now, but it wasn't DC at
Oh
the time.
no, it was. It's DC's side company. When they did because look up Neil Gaiman's something the Endless, right? Sandman series, and it's under that
I don't
maker.
think it's Sandman.
No,
Was
not
the
Sandman, but like the title that's the publishing house that's under it. That Sandman's under. It's that one. Because that's technically DC's like indie owned type of thing, if I remember correctly.
I'll
my
find
tongue.
it. But anyway, so yeah, Michael B. Jordan producing, and I'll find some information. We'll move right along so we can keep this rapid fire going. Some more video game stuff because JR loves him some video games. PS5 user interface was revealed. I didn't get to see this, JR, but I'm guessing you did. And this is a big thing because really and truly, they have not they have not derived from the same user interface since probably since the PS1. I believe PS2, PS3, and PS4 have all used the same user interfaces, that kind of icons across. Maybe with the improvements, you could go up and down and do some sub menus and stuff like that. But really, they just kept it the same.
Yeah, it was it was a different look. It looked very intuitive. It's an updated look per se, right? They showed some different screens of though. If everyone who has a PS4, if you're in a video game, you hold down that PS button, right? It shows that side screen. Basically, it's an updated version of that one, but it's to the bottom now, and it shows you everything else. So it's like a 7 to 8 minute video, dude. I recommend anybody who hasn't seen it go watch it, dude. If you intend to go buy a PS5 eventually, maybe. But yeah, it looks clean. It looks good. It's in 4K and all that stuff. So
the brand that I was thinking of, and I'll bring it up real quick here, was Milestone Comics.
Milestone Comics. Okay,
this was the character that I was thinking of, and this was from the early 90s. This actually was from 1994. This was a crossover event, Worlds Collide. This was how small this title was that, or this company was. I mean, DC was huge. I mean, obviously for years they've been part of the big two. I believe that is, if you can see the mouse, that is, I believe, who I was thinking was Static Shock. You've got Superman. I cannot remember for the life of me what that character is. You have John Henry Irons playing Steel, Superboy, and then you have two other Milestone characters. I don't know if Milestone Comics is still around, but this was like one of the first kind of early incarnations of a quote multiverse or a universe riff, so to speak.
Yeah.
Now there is a character in the characters in this movie. You have Steel, which is John Henry Irons, Lois Lane; Static, which is Virgil Hawkins; Hardware, which is Curtis
Virtual.
Metcalf; and Rocket, Raquel Irvin. And I going back to that Michael B. Jordan article, I don't know if that's the same Static character
No.
that's they're going to do. But anyways, it did remind me when I saw that. I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool.
And I was thinking of Vertigo Comics. I thought that was
Yeah,
cool.
I was thinking that was what it was too. But Milestone Comics is the brand, and I want to say it was either a subsidiary of DC Comics or it was its own independent, and that DC inevitably purchased it. So, let's
Let's
see, Miles Morales
around.
gameplay, Spider Cat.
Dude. You didn't see? Oh, but you gotta
I
watch
didn't
that,
see it
bro.
because I thought it was I thought the only cat in the Marvel universe is the Florgan.
Dude, it was a just small little brief what it is. Like you get this small little mission to do as Miles, right? He goes in, beats some people, and then he sees and he finds this bag, right? This backpack. He looks inside it. There's a cat, right? And this cat is owned by an owner, a shop in the bodega. And he brings back the cat, and the cat's name is actually Spiderman, right? Spiderman, where are you, right? And so Spiderman being saved by Spiderman. And so after that, you unlock a costume where you where you go around with the backpack with the spider cat in your bag, and when you do a special move, right, the spider cat jumps out of your backpack and punches the guy in the face. I don't care what other video game is out when your PS5 or Xbox X series comes out. Does your game have Miles Morales Spider-Man with a backpack with a cat inside? No,
Nope.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want it. You automatically lose. You automatically lose when you have Miles Morales rolling around New York with a backpack with a spider cat in his back. You lose. Period.
Oh my gosh. A bunch of Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay has been released. Cars, gangs, nightlife style. Go check it out. You can find it online.
Yep. I'm all about that too.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Mhm.
Legends, Tsushima Legends free DLC. I believe is now available.
Oh, and this is on you, homie. This one's on you. This one.
What, the Marvel one?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this because I actually went looking for it last night. Was Marvel's Avengers DLC is delayed. I kind of expected this, and I think I'd read somewhere about the rendering was bad or something like that. But I know that by now they were hoping to have the Hawkeye DLC down, which would be not only Clint Barton, but it would also be Kate Bishop. Now, I do know that in the video game and the forthcoming Disney Plus show, they are going to deal with Clinton Barton actually being one of the first deaf superheroes. That Clint Barton, over a period of time, went deaf through his escapades as an Avenger and as a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's how they're going to address it. Like Clint Barton, obviously, we know from the Avenger movies, very much can hear. He may not listen, but he can definitely hear. But that's something they're going to address in both. Not that that would affect anything with getting this DLC delayed, but yeah, I'd kind of read something about it. There wasn't a lot of details that I had seen, but it is kind of disappointing. I haven't finished the game yet. I've been I want to do what I did with like Spider-Man, and that is do 100% completion on all the missions and all the side missions before I finish off the last level, because they tell you right before the last mission that this is the last mission, and at this point, if you finish it, there's no going back, which I kind of find was disappointing, because when I finished Spider-Man and finished the main storyline, it actually allows you to go back in and investigate the open world, and I did that for quite some time. I collected all the backpacks, caught all the pigeons, did all the side quests. I'm doing the same thing right now. I think I'm just about done with all the DLCs with Spider-Man. So I haven't finished the game yet, but I have been looking forward to the DLC packs because, like I said, we were expected to see Kate Bishop, Clint Barton. We know that T'Challa is going to be delayed. I know that Spider-Man is not going to be released until January or February.
Yeah.
Who else was there supposed to be? Oh, they're talking about actually unveiling. I think a data miner found a bunch of other characters. I think She-Hulk is supposed to be in the game.
Yeah.
Scott Lang and Hank Pym's Ant-Man, Janet Van Dyne, and possibly oh my gosh, I can't think of the other Wasp.
Oh, yeah.
The one that was
the
in
daughter.
the daughter.
The daughter.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a list of, in a data mine, there's a long list of characters that are going to inevitably be unlocked, but they have definitively said Kate Bishop, Clint Barton, T'Challa, and Spider-Man are all for sure going to be released. Just don't know what order and when. But yeah, it looks like all the DLCs have been delayed. And before we get to the main topic, this has been a really weird couple of weeks in Marvel. We announced on the show a couple of weeks ago that Marvel had found their She-Hulk. Well, now the actress who was casted to be She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, that's the character. The actress is denying the rumors that she's been cast as She-Hulk, but that's typical Feige. You know, they got the Disney snipers on you. They, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But this past week, rumors blew up. Some were saying, oh, it's from a reliable source. We heard straight from Sony. We heard straight from Tobey Maguire's people that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in Spider-Man 3. And that is definitively turning into a multiverse kind of episode or kind of show, movie rather, for the Sony Marvel crossover. Sony Studios has made a statement that they are not confirming the rumors that these two actors have been cast. So they're not denying it, but they're not confirming it. Now, when someone says, I can neither confirm nor deny, that usually means they're going to confirm it.
We can't confirm tonight. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Marvel Studios has not and probably will not comment until the release of the movie. But we do know Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be in it. Jamie Foxx has come out and said he is playing Electro. Yet he has since deleted that post, but he has publicly said that he is playing Electro. We don't know what version. Is it a new version? Is it a reboot? Is it the same Electro but with a new costume from the Andrew Garfield's Amazing Verse? We do know this too, that Sam Raimi, who is working for Marvel, he is directing the Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange 2. And so he's connected to this Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man connection that is come out, that Sam Raimi was asked by producers and creators on the Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man. There are creators on this Tom Holland Spider-Man 3 production that people went to Sam Raimi and said, can we use your characters? Can we use your version of the characters? Because even though Sony technically owns them, it's still one of those things, like it's kind of like an unwritten rule in Hollywood. Like, we're using stuff that you created. It is, even though it belongs to Sony, it belongs to the studio that you just steered the ship. He still created the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. He oversaw the costume design, the look and feel of the character. That's very much his baby. That was one of the movies that put him on the map. I know people will argue that it was Evil Dead and those things and whatnot, but really and truly, Spider-Man, which, by the way, real side note before we move on to the main topic, my son watched Raiders of the Lost Ark for this first time today. Now, why does this have to do with anything with what I was just talking about? A little known actor was in Raiders of the Lost Ark that has a connection to Sam Raimi's Spider-Verse. I bet you don't know who it is. He's a lead character in Spider-Man 2. That would
Are you
be
talking about
Alfred Molina.
yeah.
Alfred Molina, one of his first, if not his first acting role, was playing one of the archaeological
Oh,
assistants
okay.
in Raiders of the Lost Ark that bites it in the end when he tries to steal something from Indy. And or actually, he's the one that he took the whip and threw it.
Yep.
That's Alfred Molina. Of course, we know him now as Doc Ock, probably one of the best comic book villains of all time.
Yeah.
And one of the best comic book movies of all time being Spider-Man 2, hands down.
Yeah.
So on to the main topic. This was supposed to be about Image, but it is going to be a combination of Image Comics and DC Future State. DC Future State, let's give you kind of the landscape. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The once speculated 5G, which has been since freaking Jim Lee just executed it, put a bullet in its head and pushed it into the river.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
It turned out to be something similar. Not necessarily a full or even soft reboot, but a look into possible futures of mainline DC comics.
Yeah.
So far, this is based on JR's notes. And again, JR does a great job of producing our shows. So far, 25 new and recurring titles will get necessarily a short run that will showcase new stories with new and old characters in new and old roles. A quote all-star lineup of writers and artists will spearhead this look into the unknown and possible future for the superheroes and supervillains of the mainline DC universe. So, as JR kind of goes on more about this, I'll pull up a little bit of information about this show. I'm going over here to my my jumbotron over here to pull up the link that JR sent me.
So basically, for those for majority of us before this event happened, right? We all thought it's gonna be 5G. We thought, oh, it's gonna be another hard reboot, right? Another hard reboot. AT&T, all their stuff, they want new stuff, right? New number ones, new all that, right? And it's gonna be, somewhat of a DC New 52, of 10 years ago. About 10 years now past. Well, thankfully, it's not the case, right? It's to me, from my standpoint, from looking at right here, Future State. To me, which is what it looks like. Honestly, is like it's kind of like one shots and what ifs for your mainline DC possible futures, right?
That's
that
what I was
Batman
seeing
right there,
from there.
yeah. That the next Batman, right? That's not Bruce Wayne, and this is and this Batman right here is written from John Ridley. And for those who don't know John Ridley, he's the amazing writer who did 12 years a slave, right? Which, funny enough, also he's also writing a Marvel book about Wolverine, black, white, and blood for Marvel. So that's pretty cool. Dark Detective, that is actually Bruce Wayne. Supposedly in this future, there was a regime set in Gotham, and they killed off Batman, or they killed off Bruce Wayne, and people thought that Bruce Wayne's dead. And so this is more so that Bruce Wayne, he houses a different identity now. He's a different superhero, and he's a dark detective, where I'm hoping he falls more back on the roots of him being an actual detective, right? More of that role. So cool. Interesting look. It's supposed to be a 2-month run, right? Consisting anywhere
I might actually pick up some of these books. These look pretty cool.
Yeah. It consists of like 1 to 4 issues for, like, your big ones, Dark Detectives, Batman, or the new Batman. I think there's also one for maybe, possibly Superman, or the new Superman, all that. I
love that look of Catwoman. That's kind of a play on the Adam Hughes. Catwoman.
It's interesting. It's what things they're doing right now for new state or future state is that this is a possibility or probability of what we're gonna look forward to in, I don't know, a couple of years time from now. Yeah, it's a test run.
This is very much a what if.
Yeah, it's basically that, and I'm cool. I'm okay with that, right? This right here is your possible avenue. Yeah,
what's his name? Who? DCJ. No, what's his name? Yeah, it is. Johnson? No, the artist, right there.
DCJ.
No, it's dadgum. It's Art Germ's buddy.
Oh yeah. Derek Chew.
Derek Chew. I was gonna say that is. I love his Harley Quinn. His
No, that's
Harley,
not
and
true.
this is a first
That's not
opportunity
true.
for him to do a full
Yeah.
panel
Yeah.
of. I mean, he's done covers of Harley before, but he's never. They've always been a portrait mode. Portrait
Yeah.
mode,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, landscape mode.
Yeah.
Because they did kind of a weird book. And he
Yeah.
does a great job. This is a cool. I love his version
Yeah.
of Harley.
And actually, to kind of harken back, Dark Detective is being done by a Mariko Tamaki, and she has done some work for DC before, but like she just won an Eisner Award for her Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up with Me graphic novel. And so a lot of DC right now, for specifically for Future State, is that they're getting all like the really well known and even indie Eisner Award winners, right? Bring them on to like this new slate of possible, possible futures, right? For for new iterations or for our new superheroes and new supervillains, right? Say, hey, here's a storyline. You have 2 months basically to do whatever the hell you want with it.
For those of you who are listening to us on our audio form of the podcast, we want to flip over to the YouTube version and check it out. I am actually posting some of the photos
Mm.
of the covers being released for Future State.
Yeah.
Cool Nightwing cover, very kind of
Yep.
an old school Nightwing rendition. We got Robin
Robin
Eternal.
Eternal. Yep.
We have Superman of Metropolis, a brand new Superman title.
Yep. This is actually Jonathan Kent. Jonathan Kent, Superman's son, it's an interesting storyline because that right there, um for those who remember the city of Kandor, it was the basically the last city of Krypton that Superman saved, shrunk it down and like just basically saved the city, right? That's where we got our characters like Mon-El and some other Supermen and Superwomen, right? So this basically what Jonathan Kent has done.
Yeah,
Something happened to Metropolis and he shrunk down the city and he's kind of being the protector of it, right? I
gotcha.
don't know how this happens, but it happens, right? And this story is being written by Sean Lewis, who is another image slash indie writer who did the Coyotes, the Few, and I think a couple iterations to it for that. I think he has another title coming out this year or next year, early next year. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, and then we have a great interesting take on Superman where Clark Kent is being found out to be Superman. He's banned from Earth.
Interesting.
He's banned from Earth, so therefore he is off Earth. He's off planet, and he's I guess trying to be Superman outside on the outer worlds per se. So it's
Very
interesting.
much a kind of gladiator esque
Yeah,
cover there,
yeah,
called Superman Worlds of War.
yeah.
Um,
Interesting
let's
take.
see here. Moving on. That's kind of a
Wonder
cool
Woman.
Wonder Woman cover. That is a great cover. The Immortal Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think this is Joelle Jones who's doing this one,
Oh,
or it
it
might
does.
be
I'm looking.
yeah, yeah. It might be Joelle Jones, or it
Oh,
might be
it's Jen Bartel.
Jen Bartel. Okay, good.
Oh, I was like, when you said Jolie Jones, I was like,
Yeah,
I thought it was her, but no, this is a Bartel. This is just as
yeah,
good. Jen is a great artist.
yeah.
Super cool lady. I met her at WonderCon last year, and I don't think she usually does
It's cool.
San Diego. She usually does
Yeah.
WonderCon, and it's one of the things I was looking forward. Or actually, I was disappointed I was going to be missing at WonderCon this year. But you all got to miss WonderCon this year.
Yeah, we all did. So,
Fuck
but
COVID.
yeah, I don't know if this is. Oh, this is Wonder Woman Immortal. Okay, so
Immortal,
this
yeah.
is I think they're doing two titles of Wonder Woman, right? Because there's one with Diana Prince as Wonder Woman, and there's actually a new Wonder Woman out there who's actually from Brazil. So they're trying to be more inclusive. I forgot who's doing that one. I think the one that's did dang it.
Well, we're only halfway through these slides.
Yeah,
We got this is a cool cover. I want to know who this
yeah,
artist is. This is Kara Zor-El, Superwoman.
Superwoman. Yeah, so
Oh,
it's Kara. So she's supposed to be
who is
Supergirl.
Supergirl?
Yeah, but now she's Superwoman, which funny enough, Superwoman in a different universe is evil Wonder Woman. So there's that little thing.
I was like, I didn't know there actually ever was a Superwoman. It's always been Supergirl, but this is a different take
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Kara.
yeah.
Oh,
Technically, there was the beginning of Rebirth, right? Because at the beginning of Rebirth, there was a Superwoman title out.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, but it was correct. It was supposed to be Lois Lane and it was New 52 Lois Lane and New 52 Lana Lang. But Lana Lang,
Lana Lang.
she was the black haired Superwoman and she died literally the first issue.
Ha.
It was something crazy happened, right? And so after that, it was nothing but it was just Lois Lane the entirety of the issue, the entirety of the run.
So yeah, I really do like the artwork. It is completely different than what we
Yeah.
typically see in Supergirl. We got Legion of Superheroes.
Here we go.
Uh-oh. This is where JR goes off the rails.
So Michael Bendis is doing Legion of Superheroes, right?
Why the
And
fuck did we stop here? Who's doing the artwork?
I don't know. It looks great. It looks. Don't let me wrong. It looks interesting, right?
It looks
It's supposed to.
interesting.
It's supposed to be zany and out there, right? And like I'm all for that, right? As long as you don't mess with the continuity, which Bendis has a tendency of
But
doing
you can't. There's no continuity to mess with if this is a what if. So
Well,
this is perfect for Bendis. He gets to screw with everything.
Supposed to be, but guess who's in it?
Who?
Superboy, Superman, Jonathan Kent, Superman. How is a Legion of Superhero that's supposed to be set in the year 3000? And I can understand, time machines, right? But it's supposed to be set in year 3000.
How we save everything. That's how we fix everything in comic books and in movies nowadays. Time travel.
Oh my gosh! But you take the character that's going to be heading possibly 2 new titles into your crazy ass I'm gonna say half baked title that's supposed to be in year 3000. Granted, yeah, they made him honorary a Legion of Superhero member in the, I guess, the most recent Superman run, but I'm like, that's Bendis's timeline anyway. So you had one job, Bendis, and not pardon my French, but fuck up the new slate, right, of 2-month things, and then you have a character that's already doing 2 other issues, that's heading up 2 other issues, and you bring him into your issues. Like, stop, dude. Just stop, bro. Stop. You wanted Legion of Superheroes since the beginning. You got there. You have it. Don't mess with anyone else, bro. Come on, man.
So we're moving along. I think this is where JR was talking about. This is Superman, Wonder Woman. I think this looks to be the Brazilian,
Yep.
Very much different Wonder Woman, full body suit. Just kind of the thighs are showing a little bit, but pretty much for the most part, a full body suit for Wonder Woman. And this cool cover. It's different, it's very action oriented.
Yep.
I can't say that these logos are, I don't know.
I mean, it's something it used to be. I mean, when Rebirth came out, those logos were kind of as well.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
This one from Superman and Wonder Woman just looks like they did freaking.
Yeah.
They went on to Microsoft Word and just went through the fonts.
Yeah.
Then we got Superman versus Imperious Lex. This is where you get into, why does everybody need to have a book?
I'm guessing they did this because they got to figure out a reason why they kicked out Superman out of Earth. I think that's the biggest reason. But like, hey, I guess they got to figure out what to do with Lex after the events of Death Metal, right?
Yeah,
they got events for it.
This is the Wonder Woman you were talking about.
Yep.
Again, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, just flip over the YouTube version if you're watching on the audio version, or go over to DC Comics and find the Future State blog. But yeah, this is a very much South American looking Wonder Woman. Yep. So I'm okay with whatever. It's a what if.
Awesome.
So don't know much about this book. Looking at your notes, JR. It's just
right now. Oh, that's done by Joel. That's the one done by Jello Jones.
This is Jello Jones, okay. Yeah. And it does kind of have her has her thumbprint on it. But that's why I was looking for the signature. And I don't see it. But
she's doing the story and the art, so that's cool.
Great creator, and super cool, down to earth. Got to meet her at WonderCon 2019, and got her to sign a statue for me. Got to meet her in a DC meet and greet. Super cool lady. We got the new Justice League, which has this looks like to be the Jonathan Kent Superman.
Yep, Jonathan Kent with the new Wonder Woman.
The new Wonder Woman. This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman. Yeah. A new Scarlet Speedster, the new Flash.
Yeah, her name, the Amazonian rainforest Wonder Woman, is Yara Flor.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. This is a new Flash. I'm guessing this is not.
Yeah, it's a new flag. I think it's a daughter. It's supposed to
Okay,
be a daughter.
it looks very feminine.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to see Pan
Trash.
Mora is the artist. It looks like I don't know. That's just the
Yeah.
signature logo.
Oh,
Um,
I'll tell you right now. Let me see.
we have a black female Green Lantern,
Yeah, yeah,
and then this is the new Batman. This is not the Bruce Wayne Batman.
yeah, yeah. Oh, the artist is Robson Roca.
Okay, I was completely off. And we, like I said, we do have a new Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Which
Which interesting to me because I forgot the Mexican American Green Lantern, right? There was two new Green Lanterns in Rebirth. I forgot their names, man. The names escaped me. But there was a Mexican American Green Lantern, right? I thought we were gonna have her for a very long time. I'm guessing I haven't been keeping up with Green Lantern series, to totally be honest with you. But I was thinking that possibly she might have been, possibly the new Green Lantern for DC movies. So, but that hadn't really pan out. So, who knows what they're trying to do?
moving to Suicide Squad, which looks to be Justice League. You got a Martian Manhunter added into there, and you have a new Aquaman added.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, new Aquaman title.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool cover.
Her. Yeah, she's Aquaman.
Oh, that's the Aquaman.
That's Aquaman. That's
like
Cal.
daughter.
I think's in the background. I know Cal's in the background. I know that Cal. I forget his name, but he's Aqualad for the longest time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, she's the new Aquaman.
Interesting.
I say.
There's the new Flash book. We'll have to find out about very, very dark cover. We got a new Teen Titans. So that looks to be kind of what we saw right there. That's got to be
that's
Starfire.
Yeah, Starfire.
Starfire, which we saw, if I'm not mistaken, is that who we saw in the Justice League?
Yes.
So we've got Nightwing. No.
I'm hoping it's Nightwing.
And then we've got what looks to be like Raven.
No, that's not Raven. That's Lobo's daughter. She came out.
Oh, that looks like Lobo.
Yeah, that's Lobo's daughter. She came out. She was a new addition in like Teen Titans, like one of the more recent Teen Titans. Yeah, she's been around for a while now, like maybe 2 years.
Okay. There's Starfire, and then who do we got there in the background?
Red Hood.
Red Hood.
No.
Yeah, it looks like Red Hood.
I don't know if that's Red Hood or not. Let me see. No, that is back. Raven's right there on your
that's
top
Raven.
Right. I'm pretty sure I see the Raven or maybe Batgirl. The top left one though looks like I think that's in the Robin.
Could be
on the Robin, or maybe Green Arrow's or Green Arrow sidekick. I forgot his name. Speedy.
New Shazam book. Which kind of disappointed. Speaking of the Shazam movies, both Shazam and Black Adam have been pushed back, part of the COVID delays. And then last but certainly not least, and of course it's seen some resurgence with its move to HBO Max, and now it's on CW, part of the Arrowverse. Swamp Thing it's getting a future state. So JR, when you and I talked about on the phone earlier today, to me it seemed a lot like this was going to be like another New 52, but like let's go off into this other direction. To me, this is looking like a what if, and this is going to be some one-offs. It's very much going to be DC's version of a what if. And I like
definitely to preface, like after this series, after these current issues are done, we don't know if they're gonna continue it because like they're gonna after this one, Batman is still gonna be the same iteration run, right? It's gonna go back to whatever Batman is after. I think 127 is the most recent Batman. It's gonna be like 128, 129, right after these 2 months are passed. That's it.
So let's take a look at it. Oversized Comics, Future State, the next Batman number 1 through 4. Written by John Ridley, Nick Darrington, and Laura Braga. Outsiders by Brandon Thomas, Sumit Kumar. Arkham Knights by Paul Jenkins and Jack Herbert. Batgirls by Vita Ayala and Anenki. Gotham City Sirens by Paul Sevenbergen and Emanuela Lupacchino.
Lupacchino, awesome. Mhm.
Future State Detective Comics, or sorry, Dark Detective number 1 through 4. Like JR said, Mariko Tamaki and Dan Mora. Grifters by Matthew Rosenberg and Carmine D.
Yeah.
D. John. Matthew Rosenberg, he's worked for Marvel.
Yeah.
Um, so
Your girl's in here too.
he's done some good work.
Yeah.
Monthly miniseries, Future State,
Yeah.
Batman, Superman, be done by Jean Luen Yang, Ben Oliver, Future State Catwoman, Ram V, and Otto Schmidt. Future State, Harley Quinn, Stephanie Phillips, and Simone
Demio.
DiMeo.
Yeah, which Simone Demio, those who know, he was supposed to be he was attached to Berserker until they sadly kicked him off and they're redoing Berserker now. So
That which we know now is going to see a February of 2021 release.
that's interesting.
Nightwing by Andrew Constant and Nicola Scott, and Robin Eternal by Megan Fitzmartin and Eddie Barros. So let's take a look at the Superman family. We've got Future State Superman of Metropolis number 1 through 2.
John Lewis and John Timms. That's good. That's good right there, man.
Then Sean Lewis and Coley Hammer for The Guardian, and Mr. Miracle, Brandon Easton and Valentine DeLandro. Future State Superman World of War 1 through 4. Superman World of War, Philip Kennedy Johnson, Michael Janin. Ooh.
Right.
There's a name. That's an all-star right there.
Yeah, man.
The one I'm looking for, we got coming up here in a second. Midnighter by Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad, and Gleb Melnikov. Black Racer, Jeremy Adams, and Sia Olam. There's my girl. Sia, for those of you, again, if you're just joining us for the first time, Sia has done a lot of stuff for both Marvel and DC. A lot of stuff at DC.
Yeah.
And Sia worked on a project called Lola XOXO for the better part of the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So
it's about
it takes post-apocalyptic to a whole new level. I know that genre has been done to death a lot, but she does a fantastic job. She writes it, draws it. She's done at least 4 or 5 different volumes of the book. She just ended it completely, done with that part of her life. Just this past go around. I really think she's going to come back to it, but I think that she's just kind of like, she's doing some other things in her life.
money talks. Money talks.
I know, and I just absolutely cannot say enough about Sia. Her artistic work is second to none. I think she deserves a lot more credit than she deserves. I think she belongs in the big leagues. I think she's one of the best artists in the world. Fight me on that. Mr. Miracle, Brandon Easton and Valentine DeLandro. Immortal Wonder Woman number 1 and 2. Immortal Wonder Woman being done by Becky Cloonan, Michael W. Conrad, and Jen Bartel. Another great creator, writer, most notably for her artwork. Nubia by L.L. McKinney, Aletha E. Martinez, and Mark Morales. Some one-shots. Future State, House of L by Philip Kennedy Johnson, Scott Godlewski,
yeah.
That one for sure is coming to us in February. Kara Zor-El, Superwoman, Margaret Bennett. Ooh, yeah, she is fantastic. She did Batwoman, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Margaret Bennett is.
And
I've met her as well. She did the Batwoman this last go round. I think it was let me see. Oops, spell woman right, dummy.
As he
she did the Rebirth. She did Batman Rebirth.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Ben is doing Legion of Superheroes. With a Riley Rosmo. Oh, right here. Nick.
Yeah, I got that one. I got that book signed by a couple people. Yeah, I met Margaret Bennett.
Future States with Superman and Wonder Woman by Dan Waters and Leila DeLuca. No, Del Duca. Sorry, Del Duca. The last 2, Future State Superman versus Imperious Lex by Mark Russell and Steve Pugh. Oh, interesting. and a Future State Wonder Woman done by Joelle Jones.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and again, guys, if you want to get your hands on these books, go down to your local comic book store. Of course, right here in the Coachella Valley, we have 3 options. We have Interstellar Comics, we have, um, of course, Comic Asylum in Palm Desert, and of course, Desert Oasis
Desert
Comics. Go down
Oasis.
there, let the owners know. Start a pull list.
Mhm.
For those of you who don't know what a pull list is, it is exactly what it is. They pull the comics that you want. They add it to a little envelope or a little basket for you. And every Wednesday when new comics come out, or Tuesday, well,
Yep.
they all come. She does new releases on Tuesdays, but I know that technically
It's
DC comes out on Tuesdays, but
Friday. No, they come out Fridays now.
is it
Dude.
Fridays now? Basically, everything comes out on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Just start up a pull list, and if you want to get some of these new books, which like I said, I think I think these look good. I think these are going to be exactly what JR and I think they are, and these are going to be
Yeah.
what ifs. But this ties in, JR. This is very much what
Yeah.
we saw with the Image Boys
Yeah.
back in 1992,
Yeah.
when you had the big hitters
Yeah.
from Marvel.
And actually, before you get into that, I missed a bunch of the comics too. Some oversized. We will leave that in a link for you guys. I'm missing Future State Justice League, who is done by Josh Williams and Robson Roca. We also got Green Lantern, Suicide Squad 1 and 2, and a bunch of miniseries coming out too, guys.
I will
But
say
yeah.
this: just look at this list. Swamp Thing looks interesting. Teen Titans looks interesting. Aquaman looks interesting.
Tales of the Green Lantern Corps looks really interesting to me because it has Josie Campbell and Ryan Caddy. I'm like, what? Okay, I want to see
Justice
how the story
League,
pans
Wonder
out.
Woman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Kara Zor-El, Superwoman, Mortal Wonder Woman. Worlds of War seems like it could be good. Superman of Metropolis, maybe.
Justice League Dark, because
League Dark.
Mauricio Takara. That's gonna be an interesting look to the book, dude. I want to see
This
how
Harley
that goes.
Quinn looks pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man. Like
Catwoman looks cool.
I'm
probably have to do this Dark Detective.
Dark like a lot of these books right now, how it's going. And the one thing that's a good thing for me specifically is that they're not gonna overtake the current books right now. They're gonna let it just play out and see how it goes down to, because we're not getting Suicide Squads until possibly this one comes up again. We're not they're already doing away with Titans and possibly even Teen Titans. And so if it transitions into this right here, cool. We just gotta see how it pans out. So yeah.
If you guys didn't get to see the visual aid, and if you can't watch the YouTube video, check out our social media. I will have the Future State main photo, a PR photo on our social media accounts this week, and check it out and see what you guys think. Let us know in the comments below on our social media accounts and on right here on YouTube what you think about DC's Future State. But going into what this ties in with Image Comics is, if you notice, this is an all-star lineup of creators. Yes, some of them were already at DC Comics. I get it. But these are guys and girls that didn't get an opportunity to be a featured player on a main title like this. You got to imagine, JR, these are books that are not going to sit and collect dust on the shelf. These are going to be featured books that DC is going to push at the forefront, just like any of their other major titles. So these are artists and writers that don't necessarily get pushed to the forefront. They're going to get pushed to the forefront. Yeah, guys, gals like Margaret Bennett and Jolie Jones, and Jen Bartel. Yeah, if you know Thing or Three, yeah, they're household names. But really and truly, these are not names. A lot of these names are not ones that get pushed to the forefront. And then again, like you said, you see the Sia Oams. You see, what was the other guy we mentioned that was a Marvel guy? I'm sure they've done a stint. Matthew Rosenberg. I'm sure they've had a stint or two with DC, but for the most part, those are non-DC creators. Just Sia has not been. God dang, I don't know if she's been in DC ever. I know she's done some stuff with Marvel, but nonetheless, she has been independent for quite some time. But this ties into what Image has done for the last 3 decades, and what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done wrong. And what they've done right, and what they've done w what they've done wrong in the world of comic books. And right off the bat, you look at it was, obviously it was created by the original Godfathers, guys like Jim Lee, Todd
Like
McFarlane,
Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld, just to
Mhm.
name some of the big heavy hitters. Obviously, it's some of
Yeah.
the other names. And now
It's
it's being
crazy.
ran by Robert Kirkman, who was an Image fan, who wasn't even into comic books.
Yep.
He walked into a comic book store and said, "Whoa, what is this stuff?" And
A pull
what's a
list.
pull list? And he stalked
What is this magical place?
he stalked a creator, one of the founders of Image, drove him to the airport, not knowing where the airport was in Chicago,
Mhm.
and lo and behold, he became an intern and inevitably became a writer and a creator for Image. And damn it, now he's an EVP. He's vice president, or he's one of the co-owners
Yeah.
of Image Comics. So Kirkman really has resurrected Image Comics from its
Yeah.
death march in comic books in general in the late 90s and early
Late
2000s.
90s. Yeah.
But he had the release of The Walking Dead. Then you have the guys that created Saga, who've really kept them on life support the last couple from like what, 2014 to 2016.
Yeah, basically. I mean, like, other than the fact that here's the thing.
Wait.
Robert Kirkman has I can't say single handedly, but because you have Spawn in there, you have what the mainstays, Deadly Class is in there as well, even though that came out maybe mid 2000s. You have what do you call it, Savage Dragon, right? some of the older esque titles that survived the 90s came into the 2000s, but it's just,
Be right back. Keep
yeah,
going.
yeah, but it's just yeah, Kirkman I can't say single-handedly, but like, yeah, he having Walking Dead out there saved saved Image Comics, I can't not single-handedly, but like you had a huge portion. He also the same year he released Walking Dead, he also released of course, we said last week too, it was uh Invincible. And it was really on him for his, not just him, but like his book selling, his ability to basically have people buy his books for a very, very long time. And then when Zog came out in 2012, that just kicked open the doors for a lot of things too, right? You're now seen as a very much a powerhouse, and just seeing all these different walks of life come into your studios, right? And just create. Saga kicked out the door for a lot of creators. Walking Dead kicked down the door for a lot of creators as well. Like, like, who's gonna believe? Yeah, it was one of the very first iterations of like, who's gonna, how you gonna make a comic book that doesn't have a superhero? And then you have Walking Dead come out, where it's just basically people surviving a zombie apocalypse, and that was very compelling in 2002. I'm pretty sure it's like 2001, 2002, and about 2007, it becomes a TV show, and then that pays off for a lot of stuff for Image Comics. Fast forward to now, to 2018, right? 2018, you have, or 2018, 2019, Saga's on a break. Walking Dead is done. There are some other hits, definitely a lot of misses within the Image Comics Eagleverse. And we're trying to figure out, okay, what's going on what's going on with Image? What's going on with Image, right? Not just Diamond Comics, right? In August of 2020, released their not financial earnings, but like what comic book has basically sold the most,
Yeah.
right? And this is the first month without DC, when DC went to the other distributor. I forgot what it's called.
The Lunar.
And then something else for the East Coast, right? And this is the first month, right? You would think possibly, probably, maybe Image Comic cracks the top 10. It might be Spawn. It should be Spawn, right?
Yeah.
I look at it, dude. Top 5, nothing but Marvel. Expected, right?
Which up until COVID, that did not happen.
Right. Top 10, Marvel. Top 11 is Horizon Zero Dawn from Titan Comics, the first indie that is not from Marvel, that is not from Image. And we don't get until possibly to like 33, 37, right? No, 13. Actually, no, I take
13
back.
Spawn.
13 Spawn, but we after that one we don't get to until 37 for Firepower number 2, which is a another Kirkman IP that he released, and then Negan a second print for 38. And that's the first month's departure of DC. Granted, people will say, well, Image has never really been, aside from Saga and Walking Dead, never really been a company which has sells a lot of comics per se, right? They're more so trade paperback. But like, if I'm Image at this point, knowing for the full fact that that DC, which technically still takes 30 almost 30% market share out of the conversation when it comes to diamond distributions. That power gap, man, that gap in between has to be taken up by somebody, and it's not Image right now.
I think too, if you look, and I'm just going on my comic book collection over the last 4 years since I really got back into collecting, that if I just type in Image Comics on my CLZ collection, there's no expansion. It's Walking Dead, which finally died last year. 180 episodes, 180 issues.
Yeah.
And now what are they having to do? Negan Lives. They're doing one-offs from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Then you look at Saga. Okay, Saga was a out of left field random hit.
Yeah.
Good job. They brought that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm fiddling with my new toy over here. But you look at some of their other hits, they were rehash. Kick-Ass, Hit Girl were all books from the 2000s that sold very well. And no disrespect to the reboots, because they were very good. The new Kick-Ass was very good.
Yeah.
It's a female African American lead character who is brutally attacked. I think she's a former Marine, and she's just trying to take care of her daughter, and she gets her ass whooped, and she decides to take on this mantle as Kick-Ass, and it exists in the same universe. And then Hit Girl, I collected, never have sat down and read it. I've just flipped through some of the books, and was stoked to hear that Kevin Smith came on and wrote for a large portion of that. But it's a rehash. It's a remake. There's no new characters. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just looking based on my CLZ collection, it's all Spawn, Walking Dead, Hit Girl, Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
And the only non-repeat is Saga, which I collected for a little bit, but then got bored with it. Safe Sex, which was it, or what do they call it? SFSX. But it got hot. It came out guns a-blazing, and it just kind of petered out
for that. Yeah.
It just kind of cooled off.
There was some more mainstays before that too. Like you're talking about, we're also talking about Deadly Class.
Yeah,
it's still really good. Deadly Class is still really good. East of West. We're talking about Ascender, Descender for a long time, or Ascender now because there's another issue of Descender. But like it's very, and we're not talking about for me particularly. I'm not talking about like if the book is good because they're good. It's just more so like the book Image for a very long time relied heavily on these books that are like just huge market values, right, per se. And it relied heavily on Saga. It still relies heavily on The Walking Dead. There's the reason why they're coming out with Walking Dead 2 issues per month, redone in color. There's a reason why they're doing that.
Yeah.
And people are, and I understand that they make a lot more money. They make good majority of money from trade paperbacks, right? Like what happens when you don't have the big names and big hitters anymore, per se? and especially coming into this especially coming to into this possibly new future, quote unquote, with DC doing this, where they're taking a lot of those independents and those indie writers, those those one-off writers that do crazy stuff like Saga, like do crazy stuff like Ascender with I forgot the artist's name, but his name, I think his last name's Nguyen. I met him literally like a year ago. But you have DC. They're going into this market now of trying to get into this talent pool of independent artists, right? And bringing them into the fold and having them be in established, full on established characters, established storylines. Say, here, go to work. While Image has kind of been doing somewhat that, but with no established characters at all for the last 20 years now. It's just that they've been banking, for me. It feels like they've been banking on your Sagas, your Deadly Classes, your Walking Deads of the world to kind of bankroll everything. And they do make more money with Chase Redbacks as because that's where they. Yeah, I see. I actually put on my notes that the top the top 20 selling graphic novels, right? I think 1 through 4 for July are Image Comics, and the one in September, is Image Comics as well. And that's been the plan for Image Comics is that they is that you have an artist or creator. They go 1 through 5 issues and they just release trade paperbacks, right? Because their type of reader is a lot more, it's a different audience per se, right? They go to more of the creative side. They go to more of the people who are going to want to know about the Lumberjanes, want to know more about these one-off stories, never not necessarily full on DC Marvel superhero type of stuff, right? And they're the in-betweens. But now, since you have DC taking a lot of that talent pool into their own talent pool and giving them basically kind of a bigger platform, right, to showcase their art and to showcase their stories. What's going to happen to Image? Because I see here, I put a link on there. It says top selling 20 comics of September, right?
Yeah, I've got that up
And
right now.
1 through 5, DC, Batman, basically Batman 3 Jokers number 2, which is number 1.
Yep.
Batman 98 is number 2. Detective Comics 1027, Batman 99, and Batman 3 Jokers number 1. Right? That's top 5. No mention of Marvel. It's nothing but 1 through 20 is nothing but Marvel and
Well,
DC.
we got
Not
the
huge.
top 20 comic books by units. Or are you going by dollars?
Don't matter. And
Yeah,
actually,
one through 5 is DC.
yeah.
6 through 8 is Marvel. 10
I
is DC, Marvel,
Yeah,
DC, Boom Studios, Marvel, Marvel, DC,
yeah.
DC. 18 through 20 is Marvel, and one of
I
them is Empire.
Yeah, I will say in the top 20 comics by dollar amount, number 20, which is actually my hit series of
Yeah,
2020, is We Only Find Them When We're Dead.
yeah.
To me, that, and so there you go. Boom Studios too is starting. We have a lot more of these, I guess, quote unquote, independent companies are coming up the ranks now too. You have
Yeah.
IDW. They broke records of The Last Ronin, right? That reaching over 130,000 pre-orders for The Last
Pre-ordered it.
Ronin. Dude,
I added it to my pull list.
yeah, dude, same here. I definitely want to look for the and because it broke that amount, they're doing a thank you variant for retailers. I definitely want that too now. We only find them when they're dead. That's the boom. That's Boom Studios. That is for me, it might be the runaway hit of 2020. Seven Secrets, that release too. That actually had really good fanfare. Something's Killing Children. That continues to be one of the craziest hits of 2019, 2020. Like Boom Studios had a phenomenal 2 to 3 year run, right? In this absence of Walking Dead basically, being done, and
Oh yeah,
Saga
Boom Studios has just absolutely stepped it up.
killing it. Yeah, absolutely. Boom Studios is looking like what Image was 2012, right? And, and it's like, what? How can this? I didn't want this to be a rant. It's more so like, what's going to happen to Image per se? Like, how do they come back from this?
Because I think right here is a lot of people have used the formula. Marvel has become very corporate. It's very structured, and they're very much tied into the movies. They're, oh, there's a Captain Marvel movie coming out. Let's put out another Captain Marvel title. There's a there's an Avengers movie coming out. Let's put a little spit polish, because they've been doing Avenger comics for fucking 6 decades. But that's what Marvel's about to. And there's nothing wrong with it. It sells. It works. It sells.
Yeah.
If you want to, you're in this movie, you're in this game to make money and to create stories. And DC or Marvel has done that. Maybe it's not the greatest. Maybe it wasn't what Stan Lee and Jim and Jack Kirby were doing back in the 60s. Maybe it's not Chris Claremont. Maybe it's not, Jim Lee. Maybe it's not a Todd McFarlane. Maybe it's not early Michael Bendis when he created Miles Morales and created Jessica Jones. Maybe it's not a Donny Cates. Maybe it's not a Chip Zdarsky when he had his run on Howard the Duck. But Marvel is still churning out sellable books. I just wish they would get away from the reboots. I don't need another number one. I don't need another number one.
Yeah.
DC is doing what DC does best.
Yeah.
It's grounded in reality with a little bit of science fiction, with a little bit of fantasy. Because let's face it, I get it. Superman and Wonder Woman are not real. Green Lantern's not real. Aquaman's not real. You could very easily have a Batman.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Image was Renegades. Let's do something big. Let's do something bold. You want to do it? Do it. If it sells, we'll do another one. If it doesn't sell, come up with another idea. And that's what's their idea. What is Boom Studios doing? Exactly that. Boom Studios says, we want to do a WWE comic book. If it sells, let's do it. When it stops selling, we'll stop doing it. And they're what has been their biggest holy F comic book over the last 3 years. Faithless. Why? And I asked someone at Boom Studios, what made you want to do this book? Why?
Crazy book.
And their answer was, why not? Why not? And that's the attitude. They're taking the old Image, the old mantra of, it's like, really and truly, and again, I hate to steer you guys away from one YouTube channel to another, but if you haven't had a chance to watch the sci-fi documentary on Image Comics, you have to do that, because really and truly, up until The Walking Dead, that is what Image Comics did. What do you want to do? You want to do that? Do it. Make it sell. Yep. The only person who was ever really truly told no, other than Rob Liefeld, thank God, was Robert Kirkman. I want to do a book on zombies. Zombies don't sell. Oh, but there's aliens. Oh, there's aliens? Do it. Where's the aliens? Three issues later. Where are the aliens?
Just joking.
Just joking. There's no aliens. How's my book doing? Oh, it's top in sales. Okay, keep writing it.
Fine. Yeah.
10 years later.
Yeah. It's crazy to me just that to see we're at this point, because I feel like for Image we've gotten to this era where like, okay, they'll just don't do anything else except for like just start rehashing their old books again, right? They're just gonna read freaking Marvel did this back in the 60s per se with X-Men, right? They didn't write new stories for X-Men. They just basically just reprinted X-Men books from reprinted number ones through that whole run just to redo it again, right? And that's what I feel what they're doing right now with Walking Dead. We're getting 2 Walking Dead books every single month in color until they're gonna probably redo it again, because that is what sells money. And it feels like to me, don't get me wrong, man. I love Image, man. They got me into a lot of independent books. They got me into Saga. They helped me find, Donny Cates. They helped me find Danny Warren Johnson. I have a lot of their books. one of the best selling graphic novels in the last 2 months has been the Old Guard, which is doing great in Netflix. And I understand that they have Netflix still going on, but you need stories to help you adjust to those Netflix stories, to Netflix movies. And you I don't want to think that they're banking on the Netflix money to kind of keep everything afloat per se, because nothing really, if nothing is cracking the top 10, right, for comic book sales, and you have probably over 50 titles that you're helping fund in your, not 50, maybe like 30 to 45, right, in your plethora for that you're funding, right, including the big ones that are going to come out. How is this profitable? That's the thing. That's what I'm looking at, right? Like, granted, me as a collector, cool. That means I can, that means, some Killing Children's gonna come out, right? Number one, I can get it for like, I can get number one, or whatever for like $5. And because it's not selling one in like 10, 20 years, right? It's gonna be like $1,000, my dude. All right, cool. That's me as a collector. Me as a writer, me as a comic book reader, me as just a fan of writing and all that stuff. I want these guys to succeed. And
Yeah.
I don't want Image to go under, bro. That's the
No.
biggest thing. And that's what I feel like. Like what are they like? I understand that they make majority of their money from Image, from trade paperbacks. That's what sells. That's what sells. That's a lot of a lot of what the new millennials they take, right? They don't want to wait for every issue every other month, right? Or every month, right?
Yeah.
So they're waiting until the trade paperback comes out and you buy that in bulk or whatever. But I'm like, yo, those come out once a month, maybe once every 5 months per se. And then you gotta worry about, how is a company, how is this for longevity to keep the lights on, man? That's just crazy to me. And then when you have studios like Boom Studios and IDW, kick off the brakes. You have Berserker coming out in February with Keanu effing Reeves. That's gonna sell a lot.
Yeah. It already
You
is.
like that's gonna sell a lot. You have the Last Ronin breaking records. You have these crazy mainstays that I thought Image was gonna have, like Something Killing the Children. Hello, hello, and then I don't know. It's just tripping me out here, man. Grant and I just I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want the creator. I want the creators of Saga to come back and just kick on their brakes, because they can't leave me off the cliffhanger. Spoiler alert! Right here. Spoiler alert! They can't leave me on a cliffhanger on I forgot his name right now, but the father's dead. The
Yeah, I
father's,
haven't read that yet.
yeah. Well, it sucks to be you.
Dick.
They killed off the dad in the last issue, the one with the goat horns. Mm. But yeah, sorry, buddy.
No, and I gave Saga a try. I've got the huge,
The big one.
the big book. What do they call that?
The compendium.
Yeah, whatever. That's the big, huge novel book. I think about it. Did I give that thing away? Shoot. I was going to give that to your sister.
Better not, man. Just book.
Yeah, it's a big ass book. I chick convinced me to buy it because she thought I was going to love Saga, and I read essentially one issue, and I was like, I don't know what I'm reading. I have no
How do you
idea
feel
what
about how do you feel about that birth? Dude, and you got the tame version, bro. They actually showed the baby coming out.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
we kind of wrap up, I know we kind of went on a lot of different tangents. And this was meant to be a little bit more of a Image from beginning to end storyline of Image Comics. We kind of talked about the compare and contrast of what DC Comics is going to be doing with this new what do they call it, the Dark Slate or whatever it's called,
the
Future State. State. I like Dark Slate. That's a good trademark.
Trademark it. I will say, just Image can definitely rebound off, at the end of 2020, because hey man, when you have Donny Cates in your bag, you can definitely do it, right? So crossover #1's coming out. That's already selling a crazy number, right? and that's honestly the biggest gun that Image has right now. With because you got Donny Cates in your back pocket. That's definitely a series you need to freaking hold on to. And Department of Truth came out. That was the third highest launch in the company's history. And there's some other books. Hopefully, Saga's coming back. But like, I don't understand how you can be so incredibly reliant on just 2 to 3 titles. I can understand Marvel or DC doing it because they've been doing it for basically the ever Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, but like those sell in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
Weekly, every issue, hundreds of thousands. Right? You can't do that if you're Image.
No.
You can't. You can't do that. So I know they're really reliant on on this resurgence of indie artists and writers, but you got Boom Studio, knocking at your door saying, "Hey, we're taking your spot."
Boom Studios is just absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. It's really is amazing what they have accomplished in a short amount of time.
It's crazy, man. Like it's granted, of course, there was I forgot his name. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name, but he's blowing up like last couple of years. It's not Donnie, it's someone else.
Yeah.
He is doing a bunch. He did Department of Truth. Yeah, he's the writer for Department of Truth. His name. He has been doing a lot, and he's been blowing up, man. He's near that, if not gonna be on that level of Dominic Cates of just being a writer and just blowing up. And you have this crazy talent pool. You have this big shift, all this talent going elsewhere. The Boom Studios, IDW, Titan Comics, Vault Comics, dude. So I'm just gonna see how that goes. Image, they gotta come back with some. So
I was just say, I don't know. Sorry, I'm hooking something up real quick. I've done some a little bit of, that's not going to work. Sorry, I was hooking up a different camera and it's not going to, I guess I could tighten that a little bit. Cause I'm going to do something here on live stream.
Oh, your thing?
I'm going to do something. Hold on. I got to hook this up. They've just got to, maybe they've got to do a DC. Like I said, this DC state is different. It's not something that they have done in the past, and I don't have the answer because if I had the answer, I would be working in New York, working for Marvel or DC. But
yeah, Future State's a very compelling property or just idea to me because like, all right, cool, you want us to be inclusive. To me, DC Future State feels like their jab or their reactionary punch back to people are saying that, oh, there's no inclusion in your titles, right? It's still the same old, white Batman and this or that, right? There's no inclusivity. All right, then. Wonder Woman, she's from Brazil now, sucker. What's up? Aquaman? Oh, you mean the little girl who's Aquaman? All right, cool. There you go. like it feels like to me it's their jab back. All right, cool. We can be inclusive too, man. We'll actually give the reins to everybody. Oh, you think we can't make a Batman? You think we can't make a Batman story, right? We'll get the writer of 12 Years a Slave to do 4 issues with us, and they're oversized issues. I mean, like, okay, it's interesting thing that are going on in DC. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, guys, as that wraps things up for our Image talk, again, I think it's only inevitable that Saga is going to come back. They're going to kick out. They're going to come up with something. They're going to have to come up with something different.
Yeah.
And
I swear to God, if they get Danny Warren Johnson back to do another series, which they did with Extremity and another Falcon Punch, I think, or Falcon.
Yeah.
Metal Falcon. I'm all in again. So let's hope.
With that said, it comes to the end of our show where we do our flex poll, and I do want to do, before I do my little thing here. Where's that? There it is. This is my stuff from last week that I promised you. little J. Scott Campbell. This would be Amazing Spider-Man number 49, legacy cover number 850, because you can't do a Spider-Man book without talking J. Scott Campbell.
True.
Speaking of J. Scott Campbell, hooking it up, Black Widow, issue number 2, doing Black Widow as only J. Scott Campbell to do Black Widow, except for the feet. Guy can still not draw feet.
You was crazy to me.
That was better than Rob Liefeld, though.
The 1-for-500s that are out for that book, dude. I seen some numbers, man, for those Virgin variants. It's crazy, like 300 to 400 bucks, man.
Let's see here. This is one of the books that I thought, like I said, was just underrated as a cover. This again is going to the Legacy 850 cover, kind of a unique cover.
Great book.
Can't talk Spider-Man without a little Scotty Young.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, he talks about, he does say tooted on the cover here. But that was kind of funny. Champions number 1, Champions Outlaw number 1, the cover A. Transformers and My Little Pony, Friendship in Disguise, number 3. I mean, come on, dude. It's Transformers and My Little Pony. You can't go wrong with that. And again, if you're on the audio only version of the podcast, head over to the YouTube channel. If not, this will be posted on my Instagram at Voice of Reason 23. The aforementioned Walking Dead Deluxe number 1, the fully colored version of the
number 1,
kind of the gold standard of books in the universe out there right now. Like that's like the diamond in the rough, I guess you could kind of say. We got Norse mythology from Dark Horse Comics from Neil Gaiman and P. Craig Russell, cover done by, of course, David Mack.
Oh, snap.
Good cover there. This is not the Thor you're looking for. This right here is old school Thor and Odin. Blank variant. Right here, Batman. This is issue number 100, the Bat cover. Ryan Kincaid. It's got your name on it, bro. I'm telling you. Zombie variant. It's one of the very few zombie variants that I'll get. Champions Outlawed number 1. So that came out last week, or the week before last, rather. So that was the pull list that the flex pull I did not get to post last week. Here's this past week again. You can pick up at your local comic book store. I got mine at Asylum Comics. We got Captain Marvel number 22, legacy cover 156. Don't know the artist on this one, but that
was a good cover.
It was a good cover. I liked it. This is JR's favorite. Was it Mimiko?
Momoko.
Peach Momoko. Sounds like a drink I'd drink if I was already drunk. New Mutants number 13. This is cover number 5. This is first print, cover number 5. So it'd be A, B, C, D, E. E cover, for those of you who do that. That I did break down a week late. Maybe some of these were this past week. I did go with the Alex Ross covers.
Those ones. Okay.
These were great. This Rogue cover, I think this was a New Mutants.
That's not Rogue. That's Dark Phoenix. That's Phoenix.
Phoenix, I'm sorry. But you know what I meant.
Yeah.
King T'Challa, Wakanda Forever. But this is your daddy's Black Panther right here. Old school, all black, everything but the cape is missing. But I mean, this is us. I almost kind of wish they would have done this costume once. Just like it was to me, how they always do leather costumes for superheroes in movies, like the Michael Keaton Batman, all the Batmans in the early 90s, the 80s and the 90s. And then, of course, the X-Men, but they did all leather. I mean, that's what this costume looks like, this Black Panther costume. And by the way, Alex Ross does a great job. And then, of course, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Gorgeous cover. Now I did get this one. I was strong-handed into getting this. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 50, Legacy cover number 851, co-starring Silk. Now you obviously know who probably strong-armed me into buying this.
Mhm.
Chick. Avengers number 37, Legacy cover number 737. This is the Age of Khonshu. This is the finale. A little behind on my reading. Cool cover. And of course, Tanahashi Coates continues to murder things with Captain America. This is a breathtaking cover. Captain America Legacy number 728, cover number 24 of the current volume, which I think is volume number 7. This is Captain America, the Red Skull. Kind of looks like the Undertaker with the leather jacket, and then just like the silhouettes of bones and just death. Behold him. Really, really intense cover, but it is, like I said, every word breathtaking. Now you got something?
Oh, you have more? Or no?
You got any? Come on, flex it, bro. Flex it.
Yeah, I just got
not that. I was kidding. Wasn't sure what you're gonna flex there.
One second. Let me try to get the.
Yeah, you have to drop the background.
Yeah, you got.
Dang, got the green screen right here, bro. Hook it up.
See this? Let me get my virtual background off. All right. So, first one's first. Walking Dead, the 1 per store variant. The gold lettering.
Ooh. Yeah.
Got that one. I also got, this is Commanders in Crisis. This is another image one.
I like that cover.
Yeah, Commanders in Crisis came out.
It wasn't enough for me to buy it, but I like that cover.
I guess, yeah. I'm hoping Commanders in Crisis is gonna be the other image comic to help to kind of blow up. Here's hoping. Oh, that one too. I got this. This came in finally from Frankie Comics exclusives.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, the version. I got the. Well, actually, it's not technically a version. It's like a minor lettering. And then my last one, actually, the little art germ screen. Version.
That's an old one.
It is.
I was gonna say I didn't get that one. That wasn't in my pull list.
No, it's not. It's the Virgin variant, so it's the 1 for 100. So yeah, that's it for me. I'm kind of taking a little kind of lax, per se. I need to sell some stuff anyway.
You ain't gonna sell this. No. This is 2020 fall convention. It does have the Funko Statue of Liberty logo on it, which means it is the NYCC Funko, and it is the child with pendant. And I'm doing this on Facebook. I'm doing this on Instagram Live as well, because I'm gonna do this. Just to piss off JR. Oh, that smells so good. This is actually my third Baby Yoda Funko. I have the original.
He's massacred all of them.
I do actually have to take the background on because it's a green Yoda. Duh, Kevin. Let me get this out of here. You guys can see what I've been sitting behind all this time. There's Baby Yoda with the Mandalorian pendant. There is other ones. There's another one that's going to be coming out on Amazon. There, everybody on Instagram Live. That's right. I massacred. Does this thing detach? No, it does not.
I think so. I don't know. No, but I will say my favorite cover of the week might possibly be this Death Metal number 4.
That is a kind of a cool. It wasn't enough to get me.
It's Superboy Prime Live right here. Superboy Prime right here, man.
I massacred a Funko. So.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I can't be seen with you anymore.
What? But yeah, absolutely
good.
kill you. But I pulled back. Well, that's the Legos right there. But I've got right off stage right here is I've got all my Pokemon Funko. I've got the big 10-inch Funkos. I've got Squirtle, Bulbasaur, Pikachu, Eevee, Charmander. Um, I got the new Mewtwo, Cubone,
Mhm.
Vulpix. So yeah.
Oh my gosh! But a good segue from the Star Wars, because what are we gonna talk about next week, Kevin?
Well, we are 1 week away from the Star Wars. Well, 1 week from Friday, on the 30th of October, we will get season 2 of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. And I just realized I don't have a Star Wars background, virtual background, but anyway, we'll go with this Halloween one. So JR and I decided last week, there you go, Mando right there. We decided to do a series on, I think I'm going to save this box actually. That's kind of a cool box. We decided to start our series on Star Wars, and I figured, do we want to start with The Mandalorian, or do we want to do this? Start from the beginning. Do we go episode 1 or do we go episode 4? Do we go in theatrical release mode? I think what we should do is towards the end of the series, we end with The Mandalorian.
Yep.
And so therefore we can wrap up season 2, do a wrap-up show on.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. We might sprinkle in some other episodes, to kind of wrap it up. We'll do our news and notes and stuff like that. But so what do we want to do? We're going to start with episode 1 and go in chronological order and hit all and do. I think we're going to do each show will be about a movie or a property.
I cringed a little bit because I think that we're gonna do the worst trilogy last. I'm gonna be in a bad mood, but okay.
All right. So what do we start with? Do we start with episode 1 or do we start with episode 4?
Let's do episode 1.
Episode 1. So let's rip the Band-Aid off. We'll get through Jar Jar. So what we're gonna do is next week we're gonna start with episode 1, The Phantom Menace. What we liked about it. We'll talk about the stories of where we were when we went and saw it in the theater. Kind of, I think what we might have to do is we might have to have it playing in the background. We won't do a watch along style, but we'll have to kind of have it playing in the background and just kind of go like, these are some of our favorite parts. But nonetheless, so in honor of Mandalorian season 2 coming to Disney Plus 1 week from Friday when this drops, which would make it October 30th. We're going to start our Star Wars series. We will begin with episode 1, The Phantom Menace, next week. And then we will continue with, what is episode 2? What is that? Oh, The Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, Attack Clones.
And then the best of the original trilogy, which what people would say was Revenge of the Sith. Of course, we'll save it for the episode, but arguably one of the most anticipated fight scenes in cinematic history between Anakin and Obi-Wan. And we'll talk about that. So Phantom Menace next week in honor of Mandalorian. And then we will eventually get through the original trilogy, the Abrams trilogy. We'll give him credit. And then we'll talk about Rogue One. We'll talk about Solo. Definitely going to hit on the cartoons. Do we want to do it as a whole? The cartoons as a whole, or do we?
Depends. But here's the thing: because the cartoons are technically
they're canon,
extended universe. Yeah, they're canon, but they're also extended universe. And you know how the recent Disney run of they don't care about extended universe or canon, man.
I don't
they
know,
don't,
because I think that they're starting to kind of consider Clone Wars and
actually got roasted.
Yeah, I think Clone Wars and what was the other one? There was 2 cartoons, Clone Wars and
Rebels.
I think they're technically kind of considered canon now. So,
I mean, hey, they finally made I forgot his name, but he's the commander of one of the he's one of the not Sith, but like he's one of the commanders of one I forgot his name, dude. He had a comic book out. He's one of the he was an extended unit. He was technically in the books for a very, very long time. And they finally gave him a comic book, and he's now part of the continuity. Hopefully. But yeah, him, dude. He's blue.
Yeah.
I think.
Anyways, look forward to that. I'll post some stuff on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook like I did last week, where we will break down the upcoming weeks. I've been looking forward to this. This is the first time we're really going to tackle a major pop culture series. I know we did one on the Comic Cons back in the summertime, where we did about 3 weeks on San Diego Comic Con, but this is where we're going to really tackle. I think this is going to be a practice round for us doing
Like the Marvel?
the Marvel. So we'll
fine.
see how things go.
I'm gonna roast the hell out of the Abram trilogy. I'm gonna roast the hell.
You're gonna have to wait for it. It's gonna take us about 6 weeks to get there. Again, thank you guys so much for continued every single week to make these shows great. Again, if you want to find us on Google, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and iHeartRadio, amongst other podcast platforms, you can just look it up by PS Comics I Love You. You can also find us on YouTube by searching out PS Comics I Love You, if you aren't already watching the video. Facebook and Instagram at PS Comics I Love You. Twitter at PS Comics I Love the letter U. PS Comics I Love You at gmail.com is the official email address. And we've got all kinds of cool stuff, including some gaming channel stuff coming in the very near future, as the Xbox One, the Xbox Series S and the PS5 come out. Yeah. We'll figure out how to do some stuff. And again, he is JR Kambakungan, the Dark King. And he is. Go right ahead, JR. Who am I?
And he is
the voice of reason.
Kevin Pillow.
At voice of reason 23. JR has got. How many beers did you have?
Before that one, maybe like 2 more.
There you go. I just had the one. Shout out to the Hall of Famer, the one of the greatest superstars of all time. Got to give a little shout. This is not a paid advertisement, but got to give a little shout out to El Segundo Brewing Company, the Broken Skull IPA. Damn good IPA. It is a good beer right there. Celebrating our 21st episode. Thank you guys so much for keeping us tuned in. Got some great things coming, some new platforms we're going to land on. And again, Phantom Menace, Star Wars Episode 1, our 22nd show is coming to you next week. All right, guys, have a great night. We'll see ya. Peace.
Peace.